I did want to start, before we get into our bit of news, we'll delay it even further. I received a big package the other day. It sounds dirtier than it actually is.
I was going to ask what his name was, but in case you didn't get that one.
So, opened it up. There's a big old A on it. I forgot that I pre-ordered the special edition of the Avengers video game. It came with a Captain America statue and a bunch of other little goodies. There's actually a Thor's hammer keychain that it feels like it weighs a pound. It's great. I wanted to talk a little bit about the first maybe 45 minutes of the Avengers video game, so this is clearly spoilers ahead. So you start off as Kamala Khan, and you might say, who's Kamala Khan? Whatever. So you're her as a kid, and you're heading to A-Day, which is an Avengers festival type thing. They have all sorts of stuff, like you put on 2 Hulk gloves, and you can do the old hammer thing at the fair where you hit it and you see how high the bell goes?
Yeah.
It's like that, except the Hulk. You're a little kid, and your idea is to collect comics. You're like, wait, I thought this was an Avengers game. It is, barely. So you go around, you collect the comics, you meet the Avengers as a little kid, and she gets really excited and stuff. It was nice to see what a world would look like with the actual Avengers for a minute, but it's not. Nobody wants to do this when they play an Avengers game. But then a big explosion on the Golden Gate Bridge happens, and you get to play as Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, and the Hulk.
All at once? That seems complicated.
No, not all at once. It rotates. Each of them have a duty they have to fulfill. It gives you an idea of their powers, their skill sets, their special moves, all that stuff. And you get to use them in succession, and it's fantastic. And then there's a big cinematic cutscene, and then you're back to being the girl again, and you're sneaking around the city 5 years later. And it's like, man, this is a roller coaster. It's great gameplay. It has like a nice meat of the 45-minute sandwich I've played.
Mm-hmm.
But the bread, we got to cut the carbs here, is terrible. It's not fun at all. What I was doing lately is sneaking around the city as Kamala Khan, and every time you get spotted, it's like the old Metal Gear games. You have to restart. You get caught, you get surrounded, and you restart from a checkpoint.
Snake!
Yeah. And the freaking loading times are terrible.
Come on, PS5. Come on, PS5.
Yeah, it's really bad. So maybe the PS5 will be all it's cracked up to be, and this won't be as big a deal. But playing as Kamala Khan, she ends up becoming an Avenger, but you are not playing as her as an Avenger to this point. You are her as a little kid.
Does she have powers? Are you sneaking around with powers?
Yeah, she has powers. In the second time you play as her,
so it's better than the time wasting stuff on the Spider-Man game. Then
it's very similar. It's extremely similar to that.
I hated those. All right.
Yeah. You're talking about when you're Mary Jane and when you're Miles Morales and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, Mary Jane stands behind a metal crane. Oh, duck, there's a bad guy. Wait, just a second, he's gonna walk by. Mary Jane. It's a good song.
It's great.
Wasn't that as exciting as Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
The game developer said to me.
So this girl's powers is that she can make her arms skinny and her hands big, or her legs skinny and her foot big. I'm not kidding. She's like her like arm stretches out a little bit, and she can make her fists really big.
Or she make pizza? Like, how is that a superpower?
It's so whack. I don't even know what to make of this game because
is she super strong too? Like, can she like slap a car out of the air?
Who knows? No, this is just it's it's not fun. I playing as Black Widow, by the way, awesome. You do a one-on-one fight with Taskmaster, and she can shoot really fast. It's fantastic how quickly you can shoot if you really got some trigger speed. It's awesome. I don't know. The graphics are really good. People were complaining that the character models of the Avengers in this game weren't modeled after the movie characters, but the dumbass people who keep saying that are the same people that don't realize that these were based on other characters who have had many different looks. So blow it out your ass. All these characters look good. The graphics are great. I'm playing on PS4 Pro, but just out of the 45 minutes, I had 30 minutes of joy and 15 minutes of just being so bored. There was a point yesterday I had to call my bank. I was telling Jeremy before we started for a reason, and I just gave the controller to my wife. I was like, "Hey, can you just like walk through this part while I call them?" Because it's nothing. It's just nothing. So I don't know what they're going for. You can play online and do raids and stuff, Destiny style, but you have to beat the campaign first, and it is. I'm gonna give it a shot when we get done recording here, but I do not feel confident. So I don't know. I just wanted to give my first thoughts on it. I'm going to do a full review coming up, probably in a few episodes. I'm gonna see how much time I get this coming week to play it. I haven't had much time, so there you go. First impressions on Avengers. If you like playing as a little kid at a fair, buy this game.
Does she inflate her hand by like blowing into her thumb like a cartoon character?
No, I
No,
wish.
that's disappointing. If they're gonna do that, they should have at least gone with the gag.
Yeah, it's it's brutal, man. My buddy who played the beta, which is pretty damn funny. He's like, "Oh, they didn't make you play as her in the beta. I wonder why. They let you do the cool stuff in the beta. These fucking bait and switch bastards. So bad.
I don't know why they put that stuff in there. I mean, like just add some stupid like wave fighting missions if you're trying to pad out the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's not hard to just add more run down the street, punch whatever you're punching, the robots or whatever. I mean, you don't have to put a bunch of like random stuff in there to make the game long.
Speaking of that,
they made Legend of Zelda 8,000 hours long, and they only have like 2 enemies in there.
yeah, it's not that hard. Especially AIM is the main antagonist in this advanced idea mechanics, and they're just like dudes with yellow like hazmat suits. Just have hordes of those coming through, and be the Hulk and slaughter them. It's fine. Anything but this. Like
I'm curious what the design idea behind that is, because like I'm going to use this example again because it's just such an egregious like waste of time. It's the Spider-Man games where you have the Mary Jane or the Miles, I don't know his last name, the Miles sections where you're just like walking through these really unlikely scenarios of sneaking around and not being Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the game cover distinctly says Spider-Man.
I wonder if there was anyone, literally anyone on the planet, who was thinking when this Avengers game came out, man, I really love to play as Kamala Khan. I know I'm early in the game, but this game is clearly focused on this character, and it sucks. Just put that out there.
So if the game opens up into a more Avenger-esque package of players, you'll be like, okay, the beginning was rough, but then it got better.
Yeah, absolutely. If Kamala Khan is one of the people that I get to control throughout this game on a consistent basis, not like we play as Kamala Khan, then it goes to Avengers, then we play as Kamala Khan, then it goes to I I don't want that. Like, if we're
Okay.
getting her part of the story in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
then, play together. Then we're getting Thor's view, then Iron Man. If this is just part of the whole, it's fine. But if we're gonna keep coming back to this, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it.
Okay, because like the way you were talking, I was taking away the idea that you just didn't like Kamala Khan.
I don't. I mean, I don't. To be honest, I don't follow her. I know about her. I don't really like her powers, but I don't have anything against her, except the beginning of this game. I read a lot of comic books, and they do a really bad job of writing these characters. And instead of, okay, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but instead of making characters like they used to, okay, it has nothing to do with gender or any of the other superficial bullshit that all these morons like to talk about. Think about, like, Spider-Man, for instance. He's poor. His uncle died. All this horrible shit happens to him. He's always poor, isn't he? And he's still out there fighting crime. When they write these new, like, female characters, all they're doing is, like, patting each other on the back. She never comes against any adversity. She's just winning all the time. It's like, that's not anything to root for. That's why everyone likes Black Widow, because she's a badass, but she's been through such horrible shit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another problem that people had with Captain Marvel, back to that movie, is that she just wins, and she's just always just winning. And then she popped into the Avengers, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm actually the reason they call it the Avengers, and I'm the strongest one. It's like, well, actually, we got a Norse god over here. So, you know what I mean? It's just,
Look
there's
at me.
no
I'm the captain now.
there's no hill to climb. There's no, obstacle to leap. I don't know. It's a tough thing, because I get that they want to make these characters, and I don't care what they look like. I'll read anybody, but it's got to be a good story. You can't just make a shit story then say that we're, racist or whatever because we don't like it.
That's kind of what they messed up on the Iron Man movies too. Like the second one, where it's just like there's this guy here with some whips.
Yeah. That was it. It was like he found out how to do it too. Get it? It's like, yeah.
And I honestly I don't remember Iron Man 3 right now.
Oh god, just don't remember it.
I think wait, no, I think that's the one where like all the robots were made of dust or something. Like and like a semi truck just takes an Iron Man suit out. Like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
You should have used that truck to fight the bad guy. Did no one have a truck?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's
But
that
enough
was a
about
weird
why
one.
Suicide Squad pissed me off. Like,
Yeah.
these highly trained soldiers can't handle it. We need a chick with a baseball bat. Oh, and this guy shoots fire because there's no fire in the U.S. military.
That's true.
Like, we could have gotten a flamethrower with training, but no. We're gonna get this guy. He can spell with fire. The only thing he does special with fire is spell. Everything else is just shooting fire. We have flamethrowers. At least X-Men, it's a big flame that's like running around, kind of cool.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't understand why they don't shoot those X-Men. Like, you could just shoot them. Except for Wolverine, you could just shoot him a lot.
Yeah, you could shoot him a lot and he'd still be fine, kind of, depending on how much you shot him.
I feel like you could shoot Magneto too. Honestly,
Yeah.
a lot of things, I feel like you could shoot them.
Yeah.
And you should, and you know that because I say it every episode.
Professor
today,
X did not
today
shot.
and people that Jeremy thinks you can shoot. I'm on a list of some sort.